been a long time coming. Whoa, whoa.
Hello and welcome to day 15 and day 16 of our fairy tale reread. Right now, right from the start, I am going to give a spoiler alert. If you haven't read chapters 15 and 16 yet, go and read them and then come back. And I'm just going to wait while people leave the room. Okay, so the major thing has happened. Rosie is reeling from it and Ed comes to her rescue. I'm not giving too much away by saying that. I'm going to read a little bit of the scene that shows him bringing her back to her apartment and looking after her because I think it's really lovely. So I'm just going to read a little bit of it. We didn't speak much in the cab. Ed just wrapped an arm around my shoulder and remained quiet as I leaned my head against his well-loved, beaten-up brown leather jacket and shut my eyes, inhaling its familiar scent. Once inside my apartment, he sat me down on the couch and hurried around, switching on lamps, drawing blinds, and coaxing my coffee maker into a reluctant clanking action. My burning eyes followed him. Watching Ed busily at work brought a rush of nostalgia and made me wonder what I'd done in my life to deserve such amazingly selfless friends. Ed returned and handed me my favourite mug filled with hot, sweet black coffee. "Here, drink this, then you'd better eat something." I shook my head. "I'm not hungry." "Doesn't matter, you still need to eat. Then you need rest." "You don't have to do this, Ed. Go home. I'll be fine, honestly." The ice blue stare searched my soul. "Do you want me to go home, Rosie?" I looked long and hard at this person who had done so much for me, and suddenly I realised I didn't want to be alone. "No, I don't." Relief seemed to light him up from the inside out. "Then I'm not going anywhere." He bent forward and lightly kissed my forehead. "I'll go fix us something to eat, okay?" He jumped up and headed for the kitchen. "Although you may be disappointed if you were expecting a culinary masterpiece, I can't seem to find any normal food in here." Sounds of drawers and cupboard doors being opened wafted in from the direction of my kitchen, followed by a crash and a muffled profanity. "And your cupboards are booby-trapped!" "Ed," I called out. He appeared like a flash in the doorway. "Yeah?" "Thank you." A huge smile spread across his face. "You're more than welcome, Rosie." Oh, I love it. So Eddie's looking after Rosie. These huge things happened. And what I said I was going to talk about today was what happened when I wrote this in the book. Because actually what happens in these chapters, chapters 13 to 16, and moving on from there, in my head when I first started the story, I had a sense that that would happen at the end. And it suddenly turned up in the middle. And that really took me by surprise. I think you can tell all the way through the book that I was kind of telling myself the story because there's things that happen that I just wasn't expecting. I actually think that it made the story better. But it did take me by surprise. I remember writing the end of chapter 13 when the big shock happens and just sort of sitting back and looking at what I'd written on my computer and thinking, why is that there now? And it was almost like when Ed decided he was going to be a major character, this big shock decided it was going to take place in the centre of the book. And I didn't know anything about midpoint twists. I didn't know anything about how to construct a novel. It just, when I was writing, it felt right that that should happen there. I learned so much about novel writing just from actually writing a novel. And if you are writing a book, the best way to learn how to write a book is to actually write it. And I hope that with each successive book, I've then learned more and more and more about how to construct a story and how to make it the best it can possibly be. But with this, it was totally gut reaction. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we are back to single chapter vlogs and we'll be doing chapter 17. And it's one of my favourite chapters in the whole book. And I'll tell you why tomorrow. If you've got a question or you'd like to just say something about how you're doing, tell me where you're at, tell me what you think is going to happen next, you can always get in contact with me. You can leave a comment below this video. I am Wordsmith on Twitter. I'm also Wordsmith on Instagram. You can email me, mirandawordy@gmail.com, or if you're on Facebook, I am Miranda Dickinson, author. Happy reading, take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Been a long time coming. Whoa, whoa, whoa.